at your neighbor and say, show enough is. Let's go to the book of James in the New Testament, chapter 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it from the King James Version, and then I'm going to read it from the Message Bible. James chapter 2, verse 18. Well, I got to throw 17 in there just to make it make sense. If you found that, James chapter 2, verse 17 and 18. If you found that, shout glory. All right. Y'all all right today? All right, all right, all right. I want to know I'm in the life where we are in this thing. All right, all right, all right. In the King James Version, James chapter 2, verse 17 and 18 reads, even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. Yeah, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. All right, I'm going to switch over to the Message Bible here because y'all don't have an attitude yet. And this word should make you have an attitude. In the Message Bible, it says, I can already hear one of you agreeing by saying, sounds good. You take care of the faith department, I'll handle the works department. Not so fast. You can no more show me your works apart from your faith than I can show you my faith apart from my works. Faith and works, works and faith fit together hand in glove. Now y'all starting to look like y'all got an attitude. And in the sub-story, you don't have to go there, but Matthew 14, 28 through 31 talks about Peter walking on water. We're going to put these things together. Sometimes I got to take you back to the boat. All right? But this is what I want to talk about today. Look at your neighbor and say, show me your faith. Look at somebody else and say, neighbor, I said, show me your faith. Nobody mad at you yet? You ain't found the right one. I need you to find somebody to say that too, that roll their eyes back at you when you say it. All right? Find somebody else say, neighbor, I demand this day that you show me your faith. If you really want them to get mad at you, tell them you talk too much. The book of Hebrews gives us great definition of what this faith is. It says in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, shares with us that now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And sometimes we get so caught up in the actual lingo or language that's being presented before us that we might miss the point. Because we think that now faith, since it's a substance of things hoped for and an evidence of things unseen, we claim that hope or that faith alone, it is invisible. And I want to let you know something, that this scripture is not saying that faith manifests itself invisibly. Faith as a substance is tangible. Faith as a evidence is tangible. There is something very tangible about the concept of faith, except though by those who claim to possess it without manifesting it. And so now faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith within itself, or what it takes to possess it, does exist in a substance and an unseen form. But how many of you know that some of the most powerful forms of energy are invisible? No one in here has ever seen the air you breathe. You can only see the air you breathe when it pushes against something that you can see. No one in here has ever seen the heat that warms your body from the sun. You can only see the heat that warms your body from the sun if you got somebody that's got sensitive skin and they get sunburned. Or you see someone sweating, like some of y'all doing right now. Praise Jesus, amen. You cannot see the actual cold that comes to us in the wintertime. The only way for you to see the invisible cold is if you go out and you see ice on the ground or you see snow falling. You can feel it, but you cannot see it itself. Faith is an energy. It is a powerful energy that is invisible. And some of us, we love to have or to remain in an invisible faith. We love to tell people how much faith we possess. But we can only be talking about this faith in its invisible form unless we have something that our faith produces. So our faith in private is invisible. Our faith in person is invisible. But there sounds like the end of each part of this particular verse in Hebrews chapter 11 says that there should be a way to see faith. Yeah, y'all look mad now. Here we go. All right. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for. Stop. If you hope for something, what you are hoping for, you have to see it. Even if you don't possess it, no one in here has ever hoped for nothing. No one in here has ever hoped for something that could not be manifest, something that could not be produced. Therefore, vision is what inspires hope. So you have to be able to see something in order to have hope. So it is saying if you have a vision, which is a manifestation, but you have not yet possessed the vision, it has not yet manifested itself in the natural, in the tangible, then faith is the substance of energy that you have in order to hope that you'll reach it, that you'll reach the unreachable. It is the evidence of things not seen. Here is where we get into trouble. Because we think that evidence within itself will produce the invisible. But that's not what it's saying. It is saying that faith is evidence of what you have not seen in possession, in manifestation. You still have to see it, because how many of you know that evidence is visible? How many of y'all used to watch Wonder Woman? Oh, y'all gonna try to act like y'all never watched? Okay. There's some young people in the room. So how many of you seen the new movie Wonder Woman? I mean, it came out a few years ago. I mean, give me something. Feed me something. Okay, you've seen it, right? Wonder Woman had an invisible jet. All you would know, now see, in the cartoon days, before we had all the CGI stuff and all of that, the only way to convince people that she had an invisible plane was that they would just draw an outline. She would be flying in the outline of a plane, but you couldn't actually see the plane. And so our brains, that's why some of us are much smarter than y'all, some of y'all in this new generation, because we actually had to imagine stuff, right? And so we had to imagine that although they were showing us the form of a plane, that it was invisible. But to be honest with you, it was a cartoon. No plane really existed. But we had to imagine from the outline of the plane that was drawn that Wonder Woman was riding in an invisible plane. I was so disappointed later on as I continued to watch those cartoons and continue to read those comic books that Wonder Woman could actually fly. I was like, well, if you can fly, why are you tricking my brain to make me think that you need an invisible airplane that I can't see anyway? Why don't you just go ahead and fly? I'm going somewhere. I'm wondering if you're picking it up. Faith is that form that we get to imagine and believe that something is happening even though we can't see it. Even though the person that may be riding in it has the power to manifest what it is that they need. But because we have placed ourselves in this idea that we cannot really or should not really see a manifestation of faith in the natural, in the tangible, that nothing can come out of it, that there should not be a product, what I'm getting ready to preach about might mess you up. Because James comes back after, the Hebrew writer tells us that this is what faith is. And James comes back and starts talking about, yeah, but show me. Because he says, although your faith may be invisible in person, it should not be invisible in the world. Although your faith is made invisibly, it should produce visible. That although your faith may start out as concept and an energy in your heart and in your mind and in your life, that it should produce itself in a very tangible way. Meaning that if you're the only person that know you have faith, then James is challenging you. James is about to get on your nerve. Because James makes it appear as if you have faith, then you should have works. Because real faith works. Look at your neighbor and say, real faith works. Hold on now. Hold on. You mean faith doesn't necessarily put on a choir robe. Faith doesn't necessarily pick up a microphone. You mean faith picks up a hard hat and work boots. Faith picks up a hammer and a saw. Faith picks up paper off the floor. Faith, I told y'all. Faith doesn't say, I don't believe in organized religion, and that's why I don't go to church. Faith gets up on a Sunday morning when you dog-tired from Saturday night. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to teach one of y'all one day how to play this thing. Faith gets up out of the bed, sometimes rolls his eyes, sometimes don't want to speak to nobody in the morning. Sometimes goes in the bathroom, washes up, puts his clothes on, grabs something to eat, gets in the car, mows his way down here, goes ahead and turns on the gospel music anyway until it pulls up, and it enters into his gate with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise, and is ready to work. So if your faith is good for debate only, if your faith is only there to make you look pretty, it's only there to make you look cute, but when work time comes, it doesn't work. I mean, James is getting on your nerve right now. He says something's very confusing. He said, you're going to tell me. He said, in the Message Bible say, I can already hear you say. James got an attitude, he a funny guy, Don't mess around the book of James if you're not ready for the truth, because he not like the Old Testament writers and stuff. He not like Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. He not like them. James get up in your face, put his finger on your nose and say, I said it, what you got to say? Can you do it or can you not do it? What you gonna do, right? James says, I can already hear you say, since you saved, since you go to church, since you a preacher, since you on the praise team, since you a minister, those of y'all that's doing that ministry stuff, you handle the faith part. And I'll take care of the works. Just now what does that mean in plain English? It means let me go live how I want to live. Let me go do how I want to do. And you pray for me. You cover me. You make sure that I'm all right with the Lord. You make sure that when I come in on Sunday, I ain't got to go to the altar. I ain't got to put in no work. I ain't got to stand up there and try. I ain't got to try my best to love those who hate me. I don't have to try to work with people who cuss me out. I don't have to turn the other cheek. I don't have to do any of that. Whatever I do out there in works, just make sure that you're doing the faith part. You believe God for me. You believe that God, I'm not going to pray myself, but since you are the pastor, you know how to pray, so you get a prayer through for me. That's the reason why, even though I don't pray myself, when I get into trouble, I'll come in here and I'll grab your hand and I'll ask you to pray for me, and I still won't say a word. You preach to me. I don't have to memorize what you preach. I don't have to read my own Bible. I don't have to study my own word. I don't even have to come to Bible class. It's enough on Sunday. I come in and I'll get what I need. You do. Preach, black man, preach. That's what y'all say. That's how y'all. Because I'm supposed to take care of the faith part, the believing God part. Auntie, they mad. Mama, they mad. I might need a ride home with you later. I'm supposed to take care of all the spiritual stuff. I'm supposed to take care of that, while you just get to go do whatever. Problems with that, though. Now, the first problem is me. I got a problem with it. Now, Val, don't say no. I got a problem with it. Because even though I have the faith department, I'm still working too. I still can't cuss you out when you get on my nerve. that part. I still got to turn it off of the other cheek when you slap me in my face. So I got to do the work and I got to have the faith. And then you know what people tell me? Well, that's because you the apostle. See, I'm not an apostle like you. People tell me stuff like this. Don't they say it, Pastor Wytrice? Well, I'm not a pastor like you. And then they come with all kinds of assumptions. Because I ain't read my whole Bible all the way through. And I don't pray every day all the time like you pray. And I don't always go on no fast like you do. And they try to separate themselves, which means they are separating faith from works. And when they start separating faith from works, they begin to realize that there is something distant in their relationship with God. Because the principle of faith, got back to Hebrews, the principle of faith is that before you can talk about believing God for anything else, you have to first, you must first believe that he is God and that he's a rewarder. Like, you have to have faith in him first before anything else can happen. But since faith, you have disconnected it from works, it's no wonder you never see God move. You should feel bad if the only way you could get a prayer through is through somebody else. You should feel horrible if the only way you can have a praise breakout is that if the praise team is leading it. Uh-oh. You should feel horrible in your Christian walk with God if the only way you can get your dance on is if you need Marcus on the drum or me on the keyboard. Like, you should feel bad if the only time you read your Bible is if all of us come together for Bible study. You should feel bad if you talk about fellowshipping, you got more fellowship with people who are unsaved than you have with people who are saved. I wish you would hang out with us like you hang out with them. Maybe the imbalance in how you're living and experiencing God is coming from the fact that you spend more time in the enemy's camp than you spend in God's camp. I'm getting on your nerve today. That's the day that it is. Everybody shout, show me. Yeah, y'all ain't want to say that, do you? That's okay. I'm going to show you anyway. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you hearing too much gossip and not enough faith talk. Maybe you hearing too much of this and not enough of what you need to hear. You know, I preach crazy up in here, and y'all look at y'all watches and at the clock, oh, he gonna preach a long time. But what's amazing to me is for as long a time as I preach, y'all still go out there and act like you heard nothing I said. The truth of the matter is, if I was basing how you're behaving in God on how I was preaching, I need to be preaching 6 hours. I need to be preaching 8 hours. I just need a whole work day where I don't go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Y'all should just come to church every day if it's a reflection. While you judging how long I preach, let's judge how long you listen. I'm sorry, the apostle showed up this morning. I'm sorry. Because last week, we shouted in here. The word was great. Week before that, we shouted in here. The word was great. Week before that. But then I go back to Facebook, and I see people still on the floor. I see people still on the ground. Instagram pictures of sadness and brokenness and all aloneness and all. And I'm like, but we just shouted Sunday. How we get here Monday? Somebody ain't listening. I didn't say someone wasn't listening. I said somebody ain't listening. Touch 3 people say, that's not you, is it? He's not talking about you, is it? So, somebody not listening. Somebody not listening. Somebody not listening. Somebody not listening. Because you're still separating faith from works. You're still attaching faith to the spiritual people. And you think that you don't have to attempt to even be spiritual as long as the spiritual people are connected to you. That's what we call in the street, the devil is a lie. That's what that's called. It's a whole sentence. The scripture says, every man work shall be judged on the fire that he goes through. Why do you need faith? Because the fire is coming. I don't know if you all see what, I don't know, because you're all so busy partying and twerking and doing all these contests and stuff on TikTok, you're not paying attention to what's really going on around you. The fire is here. You think food high now. You think it's a housing crisis now. You think crime high now. This isn't even a scratch of what we're about to see. And I'm telling you this prophetically. It starts 2025. Why do you think God chose 2024 to push on our faith? Faith is for the fire. Faith is not for church. Faith is not for praise. Faith is not for worship. Faith is not for nothing. Faith is for fire. You know, you used to watch the electric company on TV. A is for apple. B is for banana. Faith is for fire. If there's going to be no fire, you don't need no great faith. But when you know that the fire is coming, instead of you trying to live your life, do your thing, be your own person, get out here and experience the world. Instead of you doing all of that, you need to be storing up your faith, building up your faith. Because when the fire comes, you're not going to be able to make it through. It doesn't matter who the president is. Fire is coming regardless to who it is. I'm not telling you not to go vote. I'm telling you go vote. Do that, and do it by the conviction of your faith. Please don't do it based on the color of somebody's skin, based on what the media said. Please do it by the conviction of your faith. What does that mean? Listen to the policies that people are talking about planting in, and if more of them on one side you believe are better than the other side, then go with that. Please don't walk in behind that voting booth and just vote for somebody because they black. When y'all gonna learn? The president is not a human being. The president is an office. That's why it doesn't matter whether you get number 45 or number 44. One black, one white. It don't matter. All of the principles and all of the policies that are in this country are neither white or black. They're green. The fire is coming. The fire is here. We are in such a predicament that it does not matter which way we move. The fire is here, but we can overcome the fire. We can survive the fire. Like the 3 Hebrew boys, we can go through the fire. But our faith has to be intact. 2024 has pushed on your faith unlike any other season. But the reason why it's done that, and the reason why God has allowed it, is to prepare you for what's coming. God knows what he needs to do for his saints. I didn't understand God taking Moses out of the world at the time that he did. I'm like, God, Moses suffered with them people for 40 years and went through the wilderness and had to pray, pulling his hair out, trying to lead them and judge them. They were hard-headed, stiff-necked and everything. And because he got mad one time, just one little time, just one eensy-beensy, he just hit the rock. It ain't like he hit one of them, Jesus. He just hit the rock, and he should have hit one of them. Should have hit 100 of them, but he didn't even do that. He just hit a rock, and all of a sudden, he right here at the foot of the promised land, and he still can't go in. God said, that's my business. I know that's what he told me. He said, that's faith building is to prepare you for the fire to come. It is not separated from works. So that means that if we say we have faith for it, then our faith for it should be manifested by our works. People should be able to look at our works and see our faith. Not people look at our faith and see our works. And that's what we want. We want people to know that because we go to church, or because we carry a Bible, or because we're a minister, we want people to see our faith. And that means that, well, then they must be this. They must be a believer. They carry that Bible. They got to be a believer if they go to church. They got to be a believer. If they up there on the praise team, they got to be a believer. If they doing ministry in the church, they got to be a believer. How many of you know that people can hold on to that faith so much and display that faith, and people are fooled by them? That's what the scripture refers to as a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is why Jesus cursed the fig tree, because it looked like a fig tree. It looked like it was producing. It looked like it was in season. So he thought he could go over there and get something to eat. But when he got over there, it wasn't no figs up. It was leaves, but it was no figs. And he stepped back, and for the first time, you heard it say he cursed it. Now, I don't know if that's the old Negro vernacular that we get to use, that he cursed the tree out. Some people preach that. I didn't say that. The Bible just said he cursed it. I don't know what words he used, whatever, but I know whatever words he used, it was powerful enough for that fig tree to feel so embarrassed that it just dried up and withered away. I know people that can cuss you out without saying one cuss word. Maybe they could say some stuff to you, make you feel so small, make you feel so, and they never swore, not one time. Cuz, look straight ahead. I ain't talking about you. I was just talking out in general. I don't talk about my people. I'm talking about in general. I know some folk that can tell you some stuff that will make you crawl away in a dark hole, and they never use a swear word. Jesus said some very potent stuff to this tree that had it dry up and wither away. But one thing that I could tell you was in whatever he said, it was the truth. And I'm giving you all the truth. You can keep on going how you want to go, but until your works begin to look like your faith, and your faith begin to look like your works, then everything you're doing is in vain. We used to sing a song said, only what you do for Christ will last. That means that your faith is in Christ, and your works should be in Christ. And when your faith look like your works, and your works look like your faith, because there is going to be a dividing line when we get to heaven. And there are going to be those who are going to say, Jesus said these words in the Gospels. He says, some of y'all are going to say, when were you in jail and I didn't come and see you? And when were you hungry? And I never saw you like that. He's going to say, if you did it to the least, you did it unto me. See, there's a way that invisible coming to the visible. He's trying to say that the context in which we live has to be productive of our faith. And James just stands right up and says, show me. You say you got it. You were singing with us. We said, faith for it, faith for it. Whatever it is, I've got faith for it. You was there. You got the lyrics. You had the bounce. We come this far by faith. Y'all was right there with me. Some of y'all had that good old Baptist leaning on. You know how to do it. No. Y'all know how we used to march in the choir. We march in on that song. And that march took us 25 minutes to get in there. The march was longer than the service almost. So we take that step forward, then you take two back, you know what I'm saying? And then you move to the side. Come on. Some of y'all, that's really how you learn how to hustle. It didn't start at the hustle class. You learn how to hustle in church. That's what we were doing. That was the hustle. Back 2 times. Swing. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. We had the lyrics down pat, but did we have a life down pat? And today, James said, show me. Show me this faith that you say you have. Prove it. Put it on the floor. Let everybody see it. Don't shrink back. That's why I had to go to the story of Peter to take us back to the boat. We're in the 8th month of new beginnings, right? 8th month. Everybody's springing, shouting about that. And I'm just here to tell you, some of us don't feel like this is a new beginning, or the new beginning that this is. We like, Lord, can we start over? Look, I'm talking to the real people today. I'm talking to the people that's like, can smell the smoke from the fire that happened, or that's in their clothes still, or they can feel the heat from the fire burning. Because those are the people. See, I'm tired of y'all fake folk. I'm tired of y'all fake faith and folk. Y'all call fake when I'm up here talking about faith, and then I might not get there exactly. No. The fake people are people that come in here and act like they don't need it, but then they cry when they out there. No, I want to talk to the real people that is taking everything you got to hold on to what it is right now. That some Sunday mornings, you really think about not only not coming, you think about, am I really in Jesus right now? You're thinking about, I should just go ahead and pack my stuff up. God can't do nothing with me. The attitude that I got, the disposition that I'm in, because I got an attitude right now, and I don't know what to do about it. I want to talk to the real folk. Talk to the people that slept in today. I was late getting here today because I laid in the bed. It was hard this morning. I ain't even gonna lie. I was thinking about the praise team there. I can tell on myself because I'm real with it. I laid in the bed. My wife said, "You gonna get up?" I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get up in a minute. And a minute wasn't a minute. It took a moment. You want to know when I got up? When I looked at the text and Chrissy put in there, "Hey, is anybody in the church?" Jesus in there. I don't know if he's going to open the door for you or not, but you might have to go get something to eat till I get there. What I'm trying to say is I got to manifest the same kind of faith that you got to manifest. Please stop talking to me like I'm somebody different than you. I am a human being. I bleed blood. I got to put my pants on one leg at a time. I go through stuff. I feel bad about stuff. But guess what? My works are so connected to my faith that I still come in here and try to pick you up and try to build you up. But this is not going to be a great church until everybody takes it on like I'm taking it on. I left on purpose today. I left on purpose today. Right before service, I left on purpose. I walked, I ain't tell nobody. I left on purpose. Because today is a show me day. Show me that you about that life. Show me that you really in here. And I know what you're saying. I ain't got to show nobody but God. That ain't what James said. James said, show me a person who says they have works, but they don't have faith. And then I will show you a person who has works by their faith. So he's saying they don't really coexist. They don't really exist separately. You cannot have works without faith. Let me get back on track here. You cannot have works without faith. He's saying it is impossible. Anything that you worked on, you had to believe that it would work before you started working on it. Do you know people that will start off working on something, but they don't really believe if it's going to work? I don't have time for that in my life because the fire is on the way. I don't have time for that. Don't be calling me to come help you, and then when I get there, I say, what we going to do? And you say, I hope this works. Oh, what you mean you hope it works? What you mean you wish? What are you talking about? I came over here. I left my comfortability of my house to come over here and help you because you told me to come help you. And when you said come and help you, I automatically believe that you believe that whatever it was that we were getting ready to do that I'm going to help you with, that it's going to work. Don't get me over here and now you doubting whether it's going to work or not. You could have let me stay at the house for that. Call me back when you know that what you getting ready to do is going to work. I just said a mouthful. Let me break it down. Don't call me with doubt. You can't call God with doubt, therefore you can't call me with doubt. Don't be doubting whether it's going to work or not. Call me when you're sure that the step you're getting ready to take is going to work. Don't call me wishing you could walk on water. Don't call me hoping you can walk on water. Don't call me until you know that you got enough faith and belief in God that you can take the step. Then I'll come. Stop asking people to pray for you and you don't believe in the power of prayer. Stop asking people to go to the Lord for you and you don't even believe in the power of the Lord. Stop asking people to hope on with you and hold on with you when you're doubting and struggling all the way. The devil is a lie. It is time for us to link up with people who know that they know that they know that God is real. In other words, if you don't really believe that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, then don't call people. Don't waste people's time. Why do people have to fight with you to get a miracle in your life? I already got to fight to get a miracle in my life. Now I got to fight with you? Wait, not fight alongside of you. I'll do that. But in the middle of fighting the enemy that's trying to keep both of us from being blessed, I ain't got time to turn around and question your faith and answer your questions about, is God going to really do this? I don't know if he really going to do this. Can we really do this? Are you sure? I don't know. You called me. Do I have some folk that feel like I felt right there? I just said it all for you. Look at your neighbor. Tell him, call me when you're ready. Calm down. Don't call me to come pick you up, and then when I get there, you stick your finger out the door. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. I almost took this mic off. Don't you do it. There's some folk in here that will leave you with that finger right at the door. Then got a nerve. I sit there and wait on you. You come get in the car, and then you act like you got an attitude when I say something to you about why you put your finger up at the door and why you weren't. I wasn't ready. Dang, you act like you can't wait. I didn't have to wait. Come on, I need some serious people about some serious faith. The fire is on the way, but we got stuff to do. We don't have time to get to the 8th month of the year, and now we're going to flip. He said, he that has begun a good work. Oh, there it is again. He that has begun a good work in you, he's able to complete it. Like, everybody shout, show me. You all know the story. Peter on the boat, scary people. I know that they're scary because they screaming and hollering when they see the same Jesus that they just left on the shore. He's the one that put him in the boat. He's the one that told them to go to the other side. He gave them the resources and his word. And he's talking to Professional fishermen, some of them. Like they navigate these waters all the time. You're not going to tell me that Peter, James, and John, who were fishermen, had never been on the boat in a storm before. But look at this. I want you to catch this, catch this. But they weren't afraid of the storm. They were afraid of Jesus walking in it. When they were in the storm, they weren't screaming and hollering. They were just working. But as soon as they saw Jesus doing something on the water that they weren't doing, they became afraid. Jesus was walking out faith while they was trying to work without faith. So when faith came along and showed the people who were just trying to work with no faith what it looks like to work by their faith, they saw something different. One of the things they saw was that they was working too hard. Because that's what happens when you are working without faith. I know you want to tell me that it ain't no difference between you and me, and you just because you a Christian don't mean that you the only one that know God. I ain't got to go to church, and I ain't got to read my Bible, and I ain't got to do all of that in order for me to walk by God. Okay, you're right. We're going to go through some of the same trouble. I said some. But guess what? Even the trouble that we go through that's similar, I'm going to get through it easier than you. Why? Because I got a faith and you don't. I'm coming down the street near you. I got a faith that you don't. Can I put some on the table? I want to use this as an example. I'm just going to use it as an example. Val, I hate to do it, but I need to use you as an example. You're the example that God gave me to use in this. It is hard for anybody to lose a loved one. I don't care if you got faith or not. It's hard. It's a challenge. But I'm here to tell you that if Val didn't have faith, the challenge of losing someone that you love would be insurmountable. She'd be out of her mind right now. She'd be lost right now. She wouldn't know what to do right now. Why? Because if you go through the same challenge, if you got work that you separated from believing in God or trusting God or knowing that God works all things together for good to those who love him according to until if you don't have that to stand on, then when the fire comes, you just burn up. And that's what happens to some people when they lose it. They just burn up. They got to puff, puff, pass. They just burn up. They got to sip, 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 pass. Why? They got to go party. They got to go find somebody to mess around with. They got to go do this. Why? All of this distraction that they never get healed by using a distraction, because the only thing that's going to get you through the fire is faith. Liquor not going to get you through the fire. Weed not gonna get you through the fire. Crack not gonna get you through the fire. Heroin not gonna get you through the fire. Lusting not gonna get you through the fire. Fornicating not gonna get you through the fire. Nothing's gonna get you through the fire but faith. I don't have to be better than you to be better off than you. And what they found out in that boat, they found out that, man, when you are doing works by the faith you have, then it make it look simple. It looks so scary that it's embarrassing. It looks so scary that it can't be possible. And they start screaming out, Jesus, I'm going to use my Detroit, Chicago vernacular. Jesus said, chill out. What y'all screaming for is me. Y'all just left. I'm not a different person, I'm the same person. He said, I'm not doing this because of the person I am. I'm doing this the same way I do everything else, by my faith in the Father. That's what he said. He said, I don't work miracles on my own. I do it by my faith in my Father. He said, and that's how you should do things. Do it in my name, but do it saying faith in the Father. If you put faith in the Father, then whatever storm is going to come in. And they were so afraid of him in faith till Peter came along, and Peter said, listen, if that's really you, tell me to come out on the water. He said, bid me to come out on the water. Give me a command to come out on the water. Jesus said, well, it's me. Come on, come. And here's where I just want to leave my story. Peter proceeded to show his faith. He had to show Jesus the faith he had in him. We don't believe that we have to do that. We don't believe that we're going to have to give an account for that. The only thing as believers that you will have to give an account to, according to the book of the Revelations, the only thing as believers that you will have to give account to as you stand before God is what you did with your faith. Some of y'all are scared of the book of the Revelations. You don't want to go into it. You need to go over there. I know a lot of it's hyperbole, and you ain't going to recognize a whole bunch of stuff and the symbolisms and all of that. And then you have to do like my grandmama taught me. You eat the meat and spit out the bones. It's stuff you don't understand, you spit it on out. Stuff that Holy Spirit has revealed to you, you take that and run with it. Because I promise you, it's stuff that ain't going to happen tomorrow. It's stuff happening right now. Jesus said there comes a time when you're required to show your faith. And he wasn't just required to show his faith to Jesus alone. He had to show it also to the others that were in the boat. Because his faith and showing and displaying his faith through his work of belief, through his works of belief, through his steps of belief, through his walk of belief, he was also showing them so that they could be encouraged. What was supposed to happen was he was supposed to get out of the boat, and he was supposed to walk to Jesus. And then somebody else in the boat was supposed to say, well, if Peter can do it, then let me show my faith. And then they were supposed to jump up out the boat. And then for somebody, he said, well, if they could do it, if James could do it, then I could do it. Until Jesus said, y'all leave the boat there. Let's just go across on the other side. But it can show you how we can all be one congregation, but everybody not be willing to show their faith. Uh-oh. It'll show you that if we call 100% fast, we only get 20% of the people. Oh, we Jesus, Lord, Lord. Then when we start talking about doing the tough stuff, the hard stuff, the storm stuff, the fire stuff, you'll find out that people will tell you they got your back, and they do, all the way back there. People have a whole lot of different idiosyncrasies on why they don't do this, and why I don't join church, and why I don't read the Bible like this, and why I don't do this, and why I don't follow this person, and why I don't follow that person, as if those are going to be the requirements that's going to satisfy the questions that you're going to have to answer when you stand before God. God don't care what spiritual leader you are, he just wants you to follow one. God don't care what church that you actually join, he just wants you to get in one. God don't care about that. He says, what are your works? Where are your works? What do you show God? How do you show God that you believe him? Because we always want God to show us that he's God. We always want God to show us that he's believable. Show me that I can believe you, God. There's a little bit of that in what Peter said. Because if Peter, his raw faith would have just said, man, get out the boat. But he had to be called out the boat. In other words, show me that I can believe that that's you. And that's how some of us, we are testing God. We want to show other people that we're great in God. In a God that we're not 100% sure that He's going to do this. We're not 100% sure of it. And that's why halfway through, like Peter's almost there. I know he's almost there, or he's at least halfway there, because he's too far from the boat to get back to it. And in a storm, if you start sinking in the water that you were just walking on, at least you're going to reach for the boat. But he realized, I'm too far away from the boat. Have you ever been too far away from the thing you left that was comfortable? That even when you falling down, it's too far away, you can't reach back. You done lost all the numbers in your black book. You ain't got nobody else back there no more. You done already told them that you ain't never coming back, and they ain't no good, and you don't care nothing about what they say. But now you sinking. You need some rent money. Come on, somebody. And you can't even reach back to the person. I'm trying to bring it to your face. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just. Calls for Jesus. Jesus comes and saves him. But in that moment, Peter had to show. He had to show his faith. Not when things were going well. Those are not the times to show your faith. We love doing that, though. Things are well. Our praise and worship is strong. Things are good. We got money in our pocket. Bills paid. I was going to sing that 80s song, then I realized it wasn't worth it. Y'all know, just got paid Friday. Y'all, never mind. I know, I was going to try not to. Because, see, they be thinking like we the only two that backslide up in here. They go act like that's just us. There are 4 things, and then I'm done, that James is saying and that I'm using along with this story of Peter walking on water. 4 things the Holy Spirit has given me to share with you in terms of showing your faith. Ready? First thing you have to show is that you have to show me that you know He is God. Challenge yourself this entire week to use the bulk of your time and your energy showing everybody that you know that God is really God. Who will take that challenge? Because that's what Peter did when he got out of that boat. He was showing everybody that he knew that God was God. Especially when he started walking on the water. Jesus was like, show me. He was like, bet. And he started showing that I know that you're God. How many things are going to arise in your life just this week alone that you see as problems, but what they really are opportunities for you to show that you know that God is God? How many things do you shrink back? People challenging your faith, you don't say nothing. People challenging your God, you don't say nothing. People building on your doubt, you don't say anything. When are you going to take one for God? Some of us are so afraid of saying something because we know when we say something, we got to stand on it. And we know that there are times when our faith doesn't look like we really believe that God is God. And we're so afraid that people are going to call us on that. But it's because they don't really understand faith. Having faith doesn't mean that it's not going to be tried. If you read your word, you already know that the trying of your faith works patience. The problem is not your faith. The problem is, can you wait? And you let people turn your faith down because you are being tested in your patience, not your faith. And you start letting them convince you that since God didn't do it today, he's not going to do it tomorrow. He's not going to do it the next day. He's not going to do it the next day. And then you start doubting, and that's the only way you could be assured that God is not going to do it, because the same person, James, says that if you have any doubt in God, you can know that he ain't going to do nothing. Don't let people question your faith and get you out of balance. Stand on your faith and let them know, no, the problem is not God, my faith in God. Problem might be my patience. That's why some people who are in your circle, you can't call them and tell them the frustrations of your impatience. You can't talk to them about the frustrations of your waiting on the thing that God is getting ready to do, or the stuff that you're praying about. You got to find confidants. You got to find people that will help you be patient. You got to find people that will help you wait on the Lord and be of good courage and let him strengthen your heart. You got to be with some people that'll tell you, I don't care that he didn't do it today, but you better stay ready because he might do it tomorrow. And it don't matter when he does it, as long as he does it. Because if he ever does it, then it means that your faith did not fail. Do I have anybody in here that's got somebody in your circle that can help you be patient? Your problem is not faith. Problem's not faith. Problem is patience. So we have to be ready to show God that I know that you are God. And if I know that you are God, then I know that all I got to do is wait on you and be in good courage and keep doing what I need to do until you get here, until you manifest that thing. That is what faith is. And it's time for us to show it. Because in the 8th month of the year, some of us have gone through some things, and now we're not behaving the same in our faith because we've allowed what we're experiencing to start having us question whether or not God is going to do it. But God is the same yesterday. He's the same today. He's the same forevermore. If he made you the promise and said he was going to do it yesterday, then he's the same God that said he was going to do it yesterday, today. And he's the same God that said he's going to do it yesterday, tomorrow. And he's the same God is going, and he's going to say the same thing. He echoes his word. Don't let your impatience take down your faith. Can I show you something? In the story with Peter, that's really where he began to fail. It took him so long to get to Jesus. He started concentrating on other stuff. What was happening around him. And that's what happens to us. We get distracted because we got to wait. And that distraction causes us to start doubting. And when we start doubting, we start falling. And when we start falling, then we start sinking, because then fear sets in. And now we don't know what to do. And now we're panicking. Do you not know that everybody that drowned themselves? How can I say that? You were born swimming. They have babies now in water. Baby leaves, exits the womb, and starts swimming. Because that's what he's been doing the whole beginning of his life. When we drown because of fear and exhaustion. You're drowning in life because of fear and exhaustion, because your patience is not strong. But if you can be patient, they that wait upon the Lord, the prophet said, shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. First, you got to show everybody that you know that God is God. Can you look at 3 people right now and tell them, I know that God is God. I know God is God. No, ain't nothing you could tell me to make me not know that God is God. I tried him. I found out God is God. Baby, if you don't believe nothing else, It's some stories I can't even tell you because it won't even make sense to you. But when I tell you that God is God, you can know that I'm not lying to you. God is God. Number two, you have to show your faith in a way that you know that God is with you. If you showing your faith that God is God, now you got to show your faith that God is with you. Now, that's not done by you just going to get some business cards saying that you minister, and hiring some people to carry your briefcase, drive your car, wearing a big collar around you. That doesn't show people that God is with you. It really doesn't. I'm going to tell you what shows people that God is with you. Fire, storms, trials, tribulation. The 3 Hebrew boys, the king did not know that God was with them until they got in the fire. God was with them the whole time. God was with them. That's why they got in the fire, because God was with them the whole time. And they were willing to show that God was with them. So much so that they said, we know God is with us so much that even if he chooses not to deliver us from the fire, let it be known that we still gonna burn up saying that God is with us. I can't tell you nothing but the truth. God is right here. He's with me. But see, some of us don't realize that others of us cannot see God with you until we see you in the fire. Until we see you in the storm. They still was in the boat, not necessarily believing just yet that that was really Jesus, especially when Peter started to sink. But when they really saw that it was Jesus was when he said, Lord, save me. And it was Jesus who showed up and pulled his hand out and pulled him out the water. Then they said, yep, that's him. You will never be able to show that God is with you if you still want to stay on the outside of trial and tribulation, because you don't really see that God is with you until you're in the fire, until you're in the storm, until you're in the monsoon, until you are in the plains, until you are in the tribulation. Stop running from that stuff. That is your opportunity not only to show that God is God and you know it, but to show that the real God is right here with you and that you cannot fail because God is right here. He has not left my side. He is all around me. He is walking with me. He is covering over me. Goodness and mercy is following me. He is guiding, orchestrating my steps in front of me. My God is with me. It does not matter what happens in my life. My God is with me. And if he is with me, he's with me whether I'm on the mountain or in the valley of the shadow of death. I will fear no evil. Why? Because thou art with me. Your rod and your staff are with me. Do I have anybody in here that know, come hell or high water, God is with you? I dare you high five 3 people right now and tell them, show me that God is with you. Show me that you know that the real God is with you. It's time to stop talking about it and show me. I'm almost there. Oh my God. I'm trying to get done. I'm trying to get done. Somebody in here understand what it means like. Have you ever thought you were by yourself? Have you ever thought you were alone? Have you ever thought nobody understood you? Have you ever thought nobody could help you? Have you ever been in a place where you thought nobody could fix it? But when you turn around, you realize, God, you are with me. Somebody shout, you are with me. In the fire, you are with me. In the storm, you are with me. I'm trying to let it go. With tears running down my face, you are with me. With pain in my body, you are with me. With trouble in my heart, you are with me. And that's why I don't fear anybody. I don't fear any circumstance, because I am not by myself. That means that whatever come up on me, it was allowed to come up on me. Because if God didn't want it to come up on me, he was standing right there. He would have stopped it from coming up on me. But he said, I'm going to, so you can show everybody else that I'm with you. I'm going to let this battle come your way so that when you start fighting, the enemy can see, oh man, that's God with him. How can he tell? Because that's the only way you winning. That's the only way you succeeding. That's the only way. It's not because of the swords you hold. It's not because of your pistol you got. It's not because of how many bullets you got. It's not because of how many friends you got. It's none of that stuff. Let God be everything. If it had not been for the fact that God was with you. Let's get to the third thing. I got to get y'all out of here. You have to be ready to show that you know if God is with you, you can accomplish whatever you start in him. If God is with you, then you have to show that he's with you, knowing that whatever it is you start in him, you can accomplish. Nobody is going to start baking a cake if they don't really believe they can bake a cake. Nobody's going to go out there, Rodney, you can attest to this. You're not going to go out there and start working on a car if you don't really believe you can fix the car. You hate when that happens to you. You go to the mechanic, take your car to the mechanic, and he charge you all this money and tell you what the problem is, this and that and the other, and you go ahead and pay him, and he fixes it for you, but then the car still ain't running right. He come to you after he done fixed the problem and say, but you still gonna have to do this and do this and do this and do this, and that's gonna cost you another $1,200. You like, the devil is a lie. Give me my $1,200 back. I got a problem. And now that you know that God is with you, are you ready to step out there and start accomplishing and manifesting your faith? That's what Peter said. He said, now that I know that that's you by your word, and now that I know that you're really with me, I'll get out of the boat. And regardless to whatever happens, it doesn't matter, because my works are not separated from my faith. Those whose works separated from their faith stay in the boat. And they watch those of us get out and walk on water. And then they talk about us when we fall down, or they talk about us when we have struggles, or they talk about us when we go through problems, or they talk about us. But we still better than them, because all Jesus said to us was, man, why you start doubting? But when he got back to the boat, he started cursing them. Y'all ain't got no faith. I'd rather him just ask me after he saved me, man, you were doing good, why you start doubting, than to tell me you ain't got no faith. You don't even deserve to walk with me. I'm still better off than you. At least I got out the boat. I wish I had somebody in here who would just touch 3 people and tell them, at least I got out though. You stayed in there. You talking about me from inside the boat. You talking about me from inside the trial. You talking about me from inside. You unemployed and you talking about me. At least I got fired from the job. You ain't even had a job. You talking about my car because my car's smoking. At least I got a car. You ain't even got a car. You on the bus. How you gonna talk about me when I got more than you, because at least I got enough faith to start walking? I wish I had somebody in here that just for 30 seconds would get out of your seat and just start walking. Just start accomplishing. Lord, I know that's you. Lord, I know you're with me. Lord, I know you won't leave me. No matter what happens, I'm going to keep on accomplishing in you, because I know. Through hard time, through trial. That's how I'm about to show them that you really God. That's how I'm about to show them that you're really with me. I'm just going to start accomplishing what I set out to do. You said I'm the head and not the tail. I'm about to start accomplishing walking like the head and not the tail. You said I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm about to start walking like I'm blessed and highly favored. Do I have anybody in here that's ready to show the world? Somebody shout, show me. This is the last thing, and I promise I'm going to get out of your way. This is the last thing right here. I got to give you this one. Then you must be ready to show that if you know God is with you to start, then you know you can finish what you start in God. Hold on. See, that's where Peter, that's the only hiccup. Because Peter didn't mind showing everybody that he knew Jesus was Lord, that he knew that Jesus was with him. He proved it by, he called the Lord's name. He's come, right? He knew that. When he got out, he knew that enough that he started accomplishing this miracle. He started out, but somewhere in between, I don't know if it was the 6th step, the 7th, or the 8th. I don't know if it was June, July, or August. I don't know when it was, but somewhere almost to him, he started doubting whether the same work he started in faith that he was so willing to show everybody, he started doubting whether that faith was the same. So he wasn't able to finish what he started. We want to lean on this story of Peter to show that even in our best attempts of faith, we're going to fail. That is not what this story is designed to teach us. That's the excuse that we want to use. That we only human, just like Peter. I mean, I could start walking on the water, but I'm only human. I'm going to fail somewhere. Jesus didn't let that slide. Jesus didn't go to him and say, man, Peter, I understand why you sank. Because you're just human. You weren't supposed to make it all the way to me. It was good enough that you just showed that you were willing to start. That is not what he said. That's the path that we want. But that's not what he said. He said, Peter, why you start doubting? You almost made it. I expected you to do what you said you were going to do. You said, bid me come to you on the water. But you didn't come all the way to me. What happened that you started, but you didn't finish? What happened that in January, you were singing faith for it, but in August, your works have changed? Why did you start what you weren't willing to finish? He said, you have to be willing to show this faith that you are ready to finish what you start. You want to finish what you start. If you started in God, you can finish it in God. This story is not designed to cripple your faith. This story is designed to strengthen your faith and show that I can make it all the way. How many folk in here have some good things in God that you started? But now you're starting to feel a little bit weighed down. And maybe you're starting to think, and your brain is starting to think, maybe I wasn't supposed to do that. Maybe that's not what I was supposed to be about. Maybe I wasn't supposed to go there. Maybe I wasn't supposed to take this job. Maybe I wasn't supposed to move on this block. Maybe I wasn't supposed to go over here. Maybe I wasn't supposed to move in this direction. Well, first of all, if you had prayed about it, you would know whether or not you're supposed to do it or not. However, since you're already out there, this is not the time to shrink back. You have come too far. You already started now. People are going to talk about you more if you don't finish what you started than they talked about you before you ever never started. At least when they talked about you before you started, they didn't have no excuses to put on you. But if you start something and then you stop before you finish, now all of a sudden they get to label you a quitter. They get to label you as dishonest. They get to label you as a liar. And the devil is the only one that's a lie. I know that God is God, and I'm about to show you. I know that God is with me, and I'm about to show you. I know that I can accomplish whatever in God that I start out accomplishing, and I'm about to show you. And I know that whatever I start in God, I know I can finish it in God. He's going to give me the strength. He's going to give me the power. He's going to give me the vision. He's going to give me the courage. He's going to renew whatever I need. He's going to renew my balance. He's going to help my patience. He's going to help my faith. He's going to help my understanding. He's going to grow my discernment. He's going to help me to move. He's going to keep me straight. He's going to pick me up if I fall. He's going to help me if I go down. He's going to walk with me all the way through. I don't have to stop right here in the month of August. I plan to get to January 1, 2025, and my faith is going to look greater than it did January 1, 2024, because I went through some stuff, and I started some stuff, and I finished some stuff in God. Do I have any finishers in the house? If I got some finishers, jump up and shout, I'm about to show you my faith. I'm about to show you my faith. I'm about to show you my faith. Give God a praise and display it. Now we're getting ready to go. Keep standing. Keep standing. We're getting ready to go. This is all I want you to do. To the person next to you, if nobody else is on your pew, to the person right behind you or right in front of you, just in twos, I need you, and only for those of you that are serious, I need you to start praying and saying, Lord, I am committed to not fail my faith, but I'm committed to continuing showing you my faith. I'm continuing to show you, and real works are going to come to you. Things that you know God is calling you to do. Things that you know that you desire to do in God. Things and callings and ministries and works that you know that you are called to produce, but maybe your faith has just been weakened. I need you to renew your commitment and say, I'm about to show the world that you are God. I'm about to show the world that you are with me. I'm about to show the world that I can do all things through you that strengthen me. And I'm about to show the world that I can finish the good work that you have started in me. I'm about to show it. 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 Go ahead, close your eyes right now and start praying that right now. You're not praying for the other person. You're praying with the other person, because y'all teaming together today. We're about to put the enemy on notice. We're about to put our own lives on notice. The stuff that was going on with me before, I have changed it. I am ready right here. I am ready right now. I am ready in this space to show the world, to show the world my faith, to show the world that I believe, to show the world that I'm here, to show the world that you are God, to show the world that you are with me, to show the world that I can accomplish, to show the world that I can do this, to show the world that this can be done, to show the world the miracle that they need to see, to show the world the movement that they need to see, to show the world that you are really God, to show the world that I can walk it out, to show the world that I can walk on water with you, to show the world that I can be healed in you, to show the world that I can still live my life in you, to show the world that you are in my life, to show the world I'm ready, God.